Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar for July 2023. The topic today is going to be 5 cost-effective ways to increase your security and minimize your risk. You know, I always hear clients and other business associates say that cybersecurity is too expensive, or the risk of me being breached doesn't outweigh the cost of implementing some security within our organizations. But as we'll talk about today, that's really not true. There are a lot of cost-effective ways that you can increase your security posture and minimize your risk. We just oftentimes don't see them implemented within businesses today. So like I talked about, the myth, cybersecurity is expensive and time-consuming. The reality is, what's really expensive and time-consuming is recovering from a breach. And unfortunately, organizations don't always know they're breached until oftentimes 5, 6, 7 months later. And the longer that a hacker is on your network, the more expensive it is to both remediate the issues that they cause, identify the amount of data and what data they stole, and really the number of records that are impacted continues to exponentially increase the longer that hacker is on your network. So some of the lowest cost techniques and tools can really make the biggest difference for your business. And we're going to talk about 5 of those today. So the first one, we have talked about this on several of our webinars and several of our trainings, and that is turning on multi-factor authentication. Many business applications allow MFA capabilities. They're just not turned on. So be sure that you've turned on multi-factor authentication for all of your business applications. This could be through a free authenticator application like Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator, Authy, or it could be through text message, phone call, or biometrics. Now, my preference is using one of those authenticator applications rather than the SMS text messages or phone calls. But at a minimum, make sure you have it set to text you a code. This step alone prevents up to 99% of breaches and can prevent up to 99% of breaches. And really that's because most breaches are caused by compromised credentials. And with multi-factor authentication, it makes it much harder for the bad guys to steal your credentials from you. But it's important when you implement multi-factor authentication that you guard the codes. Really, when it comes to text messages, you guard those codes. Or even the Authenticator app. If you get a text message or a call from somebody who says they're from some application that you use, or your bank, for example, and they're asking you for the code in your Authenticator app or the one that was just texted to you, don't give it out. Nobody is ever going to call you from a legitimate company and ask you for the 6-digit code to log into their systems. If that happens, immediately go to that system or that online banking website and change your password and notify the vendor that your account has been compromised so they can take further steps as well. Next, this is another step to help prevent those credential thefts, and that is password management. Improve your password security. Use unique passwords. By using unique passwords, you can make it more difficult for these bad guys to access your account. Most importantly, do not reuse passwords across accounts. So for example, do not use the same password on your work email and network access credentials as you do on, say, Facebook or LinkedIn. Make sure you use different passwords everywhere. And create strong passwords. Use passphrases. Like the common one that has always been taught is Mary had a little lamb with no spaces. Use something that's easy for you to remember, but is long enough that it'll take password crackers a long time to crack that password. And really using passphrases is the best way to go. Don't use information within your password that can be easily identified on your social media. Don't use your children's name, your pet name, any of that information that could be posted on social media. Make it very obscure, use special characters, and make sure that it, again, does not have information that can be easily found about you on social media. And the average person today has over 100 passwords. And really, it's impossible to keep up with all these passwords in your head. So what we see a lot of times is people use the same password across all systems, or they use very simple passwords like winter 2023, summer 2023. And that's bad. That is really putting your accounts at risk. But I know you struggle, and I struggle with keeping up with passwords to everything we have. So that's why we recommend using a password manager. Password manager is a secure tool that helps you keep track of all of your unique passwords, and most of them actually help you log into the sites by auto-filling those usernames and passwords. And we have one that we use for all of our clients, and we use internally. And if you'd like some more information about that, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to give you some information on that. But definitely implement a password manager to help you keep track of all of those passwords. So next, the third cost-effective way to improve your security and reduce your risk: leverage your current tools. And what does that mean? That means a lot of the applications that you are using or the tools that you're using within your business have built-in security features, but they're not implemented. So for example, both Microsoft and Google Workspace have the option to enable external sender banners on email coming from users outside of your organization. This is what you've seen on emails, and hopefully you have it implemented at your organization, where if you get an email from outside of your organization, it has a banner that says, "Warning, this is an external email." This really helps combat phishing attacks, and it's, like I said, something that's built into your current email platform if you use Microsoft or Google Workspace. There's also many other security features built into Microsoft 365, for example, but they're not turned on by default. So you need to take a look at your Microsoft 365 implementation or your Google Workspace and make sure those security features are turned on. And that's the same with many line of business cloud applications. They just don't turn these security features on by default. Encryption, big, perfect example. A lot of tools, online cloud hosted tools that businesses are using, have the ability to encrypt data at rest, but it's not turned on. So we just need to make sure that we go in and verify that all these security settings are enabled, because they are built into many of these tools that we're using. Next, guarding your inbox. The average small business received 94% of its detected malware by email. Email is the way that the bad guys are trying to get into your organization, whether it be through malware attached to an email or phishing attacks. Email is how they're trying to get in. And with many of these attacks coming through email, spam filtering is a useful way to keep that malicious email out of your inbox. Spam filters are designed to identify emails that attackers or marketers are using to send unwanted or dangerous content. And these spam filters prevent junk from getting to your inbox, which makes your day more efficient within your inbox. But it also helps prevent those harmful malware instances from getting into your inbox. Most spam filters work with Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace and are generally low cost to implement for small and mid-sized businesses. I mean, we're talking about a few dollars per mailbox per month. And it really will help add that extra layer of security to your email platform and help really protect your users from doing something that they shouldn't do that could impact the organization. Again, if you have any questions about spam filters, we have two really that we implement depending on the situation, and happy to talk to you about those if you have any questions. And finally, probably the most important is awareness and training. According to KnowBe4, a big provider of tools in the cybersecurity space, 88% of data breaches are caused by human error. Most often, this is because they accidentally give their credentials to a threat actor. And this could be through a phishing email, or somebody calls and masquerades as a vendor or a customer, and they provide the credentials to these people. We always say humans are the weakest link in cybersecurity, but we need to empower them to be the first line of defense, because in fact they are the first line of defense. So we need to educate our users on the latest cyber threats, how to identify a phishing email, and best practices to protect your business and frankly, your business's reputation and your ability to continue serving your customers and ultimately providing a place for your employees to work. Today there are countless platforms available for cybersecurity training, and we need to provide training to these team members at least annually. And we also need to test your team on true, realistic phishing exercises. These phishing exercises today are very sophisticated, just like the true attacks. We're no longer getting the easily spotted emails that are clearly fake or clearly phishing attempts. So we need to be training our users using these realistic scenarios. So when you're looking for training and awareness solutions, look for a solution that allows you to provide annual training, provides periodic threat updates, and regularly scheduled phishing exercises. And if you have any questions about potential solutions on those, reach out to me and I'll help you identify one that works best for your organization. So that's the conclusion of our 5 cost-effective strategies to securing your organization and minimizing your risk. Just wanted to do this quick webinar today to share these really cost-effective methods of protecting your organization, both the reputation and really the overall operations of your organization. It's important to remember the key takeaway or takeaways from today's webinar. Train your employees, number 1. Number 2, implement multi-factor authentication immediately. If you have applications that you can implement multi-factor authentication, implement it by the end of the day today. Turn it on, and you will add a tremendous layer of security to your organization. Implement a password manager for you and your employees enterprise-wide. This will help strengthen your passwords and prevent password reuse, and ultimately strengthen the security of your organization. Then manage the inbox. Protect the inbound and outbound emails. Inbound emails, making sure that there's no malicious malware, no malicious software that's coming onto your environment, no phishing attacks that are getting through, but also these tools also have the ability to make sure sensitive data is not leaving. So this is data loss prevention software. A lot of these tools combine both of those features. And then finally, make sure the current tools that you're using, the current applications that you're using, have implemented the security features that are built into these tools. Like I mentioned, primarily Microsoft 365 and Google Workspace have these security features. They're just not turned on by default. So I hope you got some good information today. If you have any questions, I would like to follow up on anything, my contact information is up there on the screen right now. Feel free to reach out to me and we will help you any way that we can. Thank you. Have a great day.